Welcome to the new episode of Product and Cake. Here with me in the virtual recording studio is Ghonche. How are you?
Hello. I'm good. A little bit less energetic than I usually am, which also I think you can tell from uh, my voice. But I'm good. How are you?
I'm also good. I'm super energetic today. We achieved great results, but I think it is very obvious that your voice is not that powerful than we are used to it. And this is also the topic of this episode, because we want to talk about teams and energy.
Oh, nice. Like how to make sure everyone in the team is engaged and the energy is balanced, or
Yes, right. And I think that is a huge topic, especially for
yeah.
us as knowledge workers and sitting in front of the computer all day. It's so easy to forget the balance between maybe physical exercise and brain exercises.
Oh, that is a great point. Yeah, that's true. I think the days that I do a little bit of exercise before work, I have a little bit of more energy and motivation. Maybe it also comes from the feeling of accomplishing something that you have already accomplished. Something, it was a hard task in the beginning of the day that you didn't want to do, and you have finished it. Yeah, good point.
So how was your physical exercise in the last days? Did you drop it?
Actually, yesterday in the evening, I went to the gym, and I'm planning to go to the gym today. In after we have done the recording, um, but I think it is besides that, and I feel in general a little bit low on energy. Maybe there are a lot of things on my mind at the same time, and I haven't yet had the time to sort them out. Maybe that's bringing me down.
Yeah, a lot of things at the same time. That is definitely one thing that also can happen in teams very soon, very fast, especially if you don't wrap them somehow or if you don't protect them
Yeah.
against all the requests from all sides of the content of the company. What is your perspective on it? Can you share what distracts you or where this different pulls come from?
So currently, there is a lot of personal things, like a lot of things in my private life that is happening at the same time. And besides that, in at work, there is also a lot of change going on, or not necessarily change, but there is a lot of um, uncertainty because of the change that is coming, which um, which makes you wonder, which makes your mind run 1,000 miles per hour just to think about all the different scenarios. And I think it also can make you more anxious. And if you want to calm your anxiety at the same time, it also calms your energy levels. So you will be a little bit more down. But what I want to ask you is, when someone in your team is either dealing with a personal private issue or something is at work, but you feel that they are lower in energy, or they are not excited to be there that day, or whatever, what do you do? Because it also impacts the energy level of the other people in the team.
Yeah.
What do you usually do?
Yeah, that's an excellent question. And I think the first and most important answer is psychological safety, that
Mm-hmm.
you create a team space where everyone can bring his true self. So we are all humans and we all deal with private and all other sort of problems from time to time. And in most of the cases, it is not super important when something is happening. Of
Mm-hmm.
course, we have all our deadlines and we have all the OKR plannings and all the big goals and targets and so on. But if you really, really break it down, then most of the deadlines are artificial, right? If it happens today or tomorrow, in most cases, this is not the point. Or even better, some of your teammates can take over some of the workload.
Yeah.
So what I wanted to try to say is strive for an environment where you can bring your real self to work.
Okay.
And your real self, part of it is to say, hey, today it's not my best day. I will be here. I can answer the questions, but I'm not ready to
Mm-hmm.
push forward a 3-hour brainstorming workshop.
Yeah.
Or even more, I need to have some time to sort out my private things.
Yeah, I think also it is, or what you're saying is not necessarily to, by bring yourself to work, is not necessarily to share your private matters with everyone in the team, but rather to be able to feel that safe to at least say that, hey, I'm not going to be available. I don't feel good. I'm not there.
Yeah.
So, not necessarily sharing the issue, but sharing um, what what you might need to feel that at least that safe.
Right. And part of this psychological safety is that you can mention it and you know that it is still in your decision if you want to talk about it or not. Right. So
Exactly.
the and this is important for the leader position to maybe offer, do you need help? Do you want to talk about it? If not, please take the day off or call in 4 hours or whatever helps you, that the team lead is there to support you and to help you in finding your balance.
Yeah, that's true. And also, I think when someone does not necessarily have the tools to share this in the team, or they don't think even it is that important to share it in the team, that, yeah, I don't feel 100% today, but it doesn't, it's okay. I can deal with it. I don't need to share it. I think it is still important that others in the team, especially again the team lead here, feels responsible enough to uh, bring maybe a little bit of a joy to that person's day, to make their day a little bit. Maybe it can be with um, giving them recognition on something that they have done, or making sure that to give them the recognition on something that they have achieved, um, or I don't know, depending on the person, the team lead should know the people in their team um to share that, or maybe even privately say that, hey, um can I do anything for you to make you feel better? And there is, I'm combining two things right now together. There is something in the rave culture that you don't go to someone and ask them, hey, are you feeling okay? Or, hey, do you want water? Do you want something? You look like a ghost, or something like that, because it makes the person panic a little bit more. Um, like, oh, you look bad. That's why I'm asking. That's why I'm worried about you. And the person uh, goes to the thought that, oh, I have done something wrong. Something has happened. So uh, the the code in the rave culture is that when you want to check on someone, you just ask them about the day and, like, how you doing? Are you having a good time? And then with that, in case they need support, they will feel more comfortable to tell you.
Yeah, this is a super nice thing and to remember. What I also really enjoy, and this works perfectly in private or in business life, is to give concrete examples, right?
Mm,
Can I help you? Is so generic, and if you feel bad, you don't know what to ask for maybe. But if you
exactly.
add that with concrete action items like, would it help you if we postpone our podcast recording today? Or should I take the meeting with the customer today in the afternoon? Or whatever it is, right? Ideally, you know a little bit what's on the plate of your teammates, and you can give concrete things that someone is able to process and say, yeah, this would help me. And
Yeah, exactly.
saying yes is much more easier than suggesting something on your own.
Exactly. That's a great point. Completely agree.
And another thing you mentioned, I'm really want to underline is that your personal mood is so easily copied by others,
Mm-hmm.
even in remote times, that especially as a leader, you should go with good example and check in your mood and ask maybe for that help, or to, oh, this is also a nice thing, the concept of the minimum viable day, like the minimum viable product. The minimum viable day is basically, I'm here, I can achieve the minimum amount of work that is needed to keep on going, but it's not my strongest day, or maybe I need to drop off early. And to communicate that clearly and to accept that your personal mood will affect others is tough and difficult, but I think it's definitely worth it to continuously check in.
Yeah, I agree. And I think it is also a sign of growth to say that, yeah, I have bad days. It is this vulnerability is a sign of strength, that I do not feel 100% today. My mind is wandering. I might not be completely there. And also, you mentioned something that as a leader, when you're as a leader or a team lead, when you join some of the meetings, you can embody a little bit of a better mood, bring sunshine to the meeting, and so on, which also has its own flaws, because as a leader, it can be a very, very lonely place. You cannot necessarily open the meeting and or it's not very easy, very not appreciated in a lot of cultures, to show weakness as a leader, as a team lead, and say, hey, um, I don't feel good today, or cry, or something like that, which I think, yes, I understand that in a lot of companies, if it's not accepted, it can be a very lonely place. But also, again, it is a good sign of growth and trust to your team, to share it with the team and say, hey, I feel weak today. And it is a lot of strength in it. Or also, if you cannot do this, um, there is a um, there are there is this rule that some people in the leadership usually have, that they, with their friends, with their close friends, they have a rule of no crying alone. So I will find the person who created this rule, and I will add it as a note in the podcast, to make sure we give credit when the credit is due. But it is a very interesting concept for me, that they are in so much powerful position in big corporates that they cannot really show that sign of weakness in the company, because it will directly impact the stock prices. So they cannot do that. So they have invented this thing called no crying alone. So every time each one of those pact of friends needs to cry, has something to share, calls one of them immediately, and or writes in the chat that, hey, I need to cry, and someone calls them, and um, they have a ear to listen to in a very safe way, but they're not alone.
Yeah, it is not so wrong to talk about these kind of rules. And also, if you have some close friends or colleagues, I just recently had the discussion that I said I felt so annoyed by all this bullshit bingo conversations. We have that often. So, how are you? I'm good. How are you? I'm also good. And then that's it, basically. And no one shares what really goes on. And it is sometimes so difficult to go behind the surface of obvious good mood, that we agreed on the rule that whenever we have the impression that someone else is not tackling the real challenges, that we just say it, right? It sounds so obvious as inside a friendship, but it helped us a lot to give our conversations more meaning and more depth, to just say it again.
Yeah, I completely agree. I had a mentor that always asked a very interesting question when we wanted to start our meetings. And instead of, hey, how you doing? It was, hey, what brought joy to you today? And it was a very lovely question. And it allowed me to think immediately of something positive. And sometimes the answer was nothing also. Um, but also it was something real. It was not just, how are you? And then I'm good. It was like, what brought joy to you today?
Yeah. That brings me to our podcast opening. Maybe we should rethink our welcome question there.
That's a good idea. Let's try each time a fun way
Yeah.
to bring up each other's mood up. I remember you also had a lot of very fun icebreaker questions, like what kind of a vegetable are you today?
Yeah.
That is my favorite icebreaker question.
That's a beautiful one. Today we had the question, which technology did you use in the past and thought it is the future, but today you totally forgot about it?
Mm,
And
I
that was
shuffle.
funny. Yeah, iPod Shuffle, for example. I remembered immediately my mini disc player.
Mm,
That felt so futuristic, but
Walkman.
just not relevant anymore. Yeah, these questions have a lot of power, and also the questions have a lot of power if you talk to someone that is maybe in trouble or in low energy level at the moment. You don't need to solve the problems of the person, right? You ask questions, and sometimes that only asking the question is already changing something important for the person.
Yeah, I think it is by asking the question just to making sure it is clear. It's not asking question like what's
What's wrong with you?
what's wrong. Not it's not a nosy kind of question like, "Ooh, tell me about your family drama." It is more like, "Hey, how can I make your day better?" It's not necessarily knowing about their problems, but it is supporting them.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
Opening a room for the other person to react if they want to or not.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah, that one. And for me personally, what I'm deep in again a while is meditation. Are you meditating?
No. My watch tells me that, hey, take a minute to breathe and stuff, and I do that like 4 or 5 times a day, uh, but I don't meditate anymore. In the beginning of COVID, I went back to meditation, proper meditation, and everything again. But now again, I stopped and I'm back into
Just hustling.
yeah, back into side projects.
This is also a nice thing if you don't have a good check-in question for a meeting. There is this arrive to the meeting meditation where you just take the first 1 or 2 minutes.
That's such a
to
great idea.
let everyone close their eyes and focus again on breathing and on sitting on the chair and recognizing the environment. And I really love the exercise of letting thoughts go. Right? You sit there, you close the eyes, and your brain is going like crazy with 1,000 things, and then naming one of these things and said, "Okay, thank you for being here. I come back to you later. It's fine when you leave now." And then immediately the next thing pops up and the next one. And for me, it helps so much to give them a name and then let them go. And after a while, it really calms down. And then it is super interesting to investigate what comes up next, because sometimes there are more silent thoughts that need some room to pop up.
Oh wow. That's super interesting. I need to check on that. Do you use any product like
No, not really.
Headspace?
Headspace is famous. I tried the app from Sam Harris.
Okay.
That was difficult for me. Waking Up, it's called. It gives you a push notification once a day and reminds you and gives you a small audio guide. But at the moment, putting the timer to 10 to 15 minutes and just sitting and see what's happening in the brain is my way to go.
Nice. That sounds really interesting. Yeah, I should give that a go.
And if you arrive to the meeting, I guess, meditation, if you Google that one, you find a lot of scripts that gives you a 1 minute meditation for the team. So this is what I did not do so far in my new team here, but I think I will surprise them.
Yeah, that's super cool. I will try that as well. Nice idea. Thank you.
What other methods do you have to raise energy? Or
So I'm sitting, instead of a chair, I'm sitting on a ball.
Mhm.
And I don't know if you have watched Modern Family or not, but there is this father of the family, and he says, I can only do brainstorming while I'm bouncing. So
Fe-
yeah, feel dumpy, exactly. Yeah, so I sometimes just bounce, and it just makes me really happy. I also went to a bouncing park. What is it? The trampoline park. And
Mhm.
that was the most joy I have ever felt since I am considered an adult.
Wow.
It was amazing. It was so fun.
Is
It
that
was.
an idea for a team meeting?
I don't think it is very safe for like a company to, because you jump and you might fall and you might break your leg or something.
Mm,
I had a lot of scratches and wounds and bruises afterwards, but also I did a lot of stupid things. But it was so much fun.
fantastic. And I would say with that, we compiled a list of ideas and thoughts that put the icing on your cake when you continue the thinking about how to increase the energy of your team and the energy of yourself, because everything is connected.
Exactly. And I already feel much more energized. Thank you, Paul. It was a great, great
I listen your
conversation.
voice already. That's beautiful.
Yeah, thank you.
Was a nice recording. Don't forget to subscribe to the podcast and recommend it to someone with lower energy at the moment.
Yes, it's a great podcast to listen to and to see how my energy mood and energy level went from here to here. You do not see it, but it was from low to high.
Fantastic.
All right.
Let's see you next time.
Bye.
Bye.